94, the hard order.
Drift Out 94. Well, it's actually a series of games called Drift Out, and this is one of them in the series. That's what I just said. Series of games named Drift Out. There are many games in the series, sometimes even having different names completely. But don't worry, whichever version that you choose, they all have one thing in common. That drifting element is just so satisfying. You know, sometimes when you just got something in here that just feels so good, so right, you know, I'm not going there. Don't think that, because I'm not going there, okay? I'm talking about the joystick here. I'm having plenty of fun with my joystick playing Drift Out. Nothing else. Get your head out of where you think I was going with that, because it's not where I was going with that. What kind of guy do you think I am? I'm just here playing with my joystick, making a bit of a splash, making fun for myself, pressing the right buttons just at the right moment in time to get that release, to make sure that you go over the finish line in the right amount of time. That's satisfying for everybody. Yeah. I may have just made that worse myself, but don't look into it too much, okay? Just think of it in a game perspective, because that's how I was thinking about it, in the game perspective. Yeah. So, Drift Out, yes. Satisfyingly great racing game. Hard to find really good racing games that are just from the control panel and not with the steering wheel. Obviously, if you've got a steering wheel, it's a much different game. This game really does rely on the joystick and trackball. You can use the trackball on some of these to make your turns, but in all honesty, I still just use the joystick. Doesn't have a racing wheel? Well, actually, you can configure the trackball or steering wheel to any game that you really want to. But the game really did just have the joystick in mind, going by the cabinet, because when you look at Sega's cabinets, they always had the steering wheel, because they always had that in mind. Going by what I see in the back of my mind. But remember, this is all about the drifting, to make it fun, and this game is extremely fun. Drifting is the main name of the game, because that's what you mainly do within the game. Hence the name, Drift Out, which is a very much a arcade game that's simulated from real cars in real life. Like you have your Subarus and your Mitsubishis, all the types of cars that are simulated from the actual Rally Championship. But it's the arcade part that I love the most. It's the arcade that brings the fun for me. It's as simple as that. I'm a very simple person. Can't you tell by looking at me how simple I am? And I like simple gameplay elements. To me, this game really does give off Micro Machine vibes. What? That was not the wheels spinning on the track, that was your ears screeching to a halt. So Drift Out is a lot actually like Micro Machines, because you've got that top-down view, not directly down, but you kind of like got the isometric angled view, and you're drifting it around the corners. Yeah, just like that. But like Micro Machines, you have to really learn the tracks. But unlike Micro Machines, the cars actually start from the back of the screen and they stay there. Because with Micro Machines, as good as that game franchise is, you always had your car halfway up the screen, so you can't see what's coming for most of the time, so you end up hitting stuff unnecessarily because you're halfway up the screen. What are you supposed to do when you're halfway up the screen? But this game nails it. It nails it because it puts you at the back, so you can see everything that's coming. You can slip and slide and drift out fine, because you can see everything that's coming at you.
Watch out!
Otherwise, you won't be able to see anything. You probably crash a lot more than I already do. Because you still crash in this game if you don't know the tracks. Like Micro Machines, like F-Zero, you have to know the tracks.
Ready, go!
And with all these different locations, you will need to know where you are going. Because they really do bounce you around the place. And you don't actually have any checkpoints in this game. Well, aside from the checkpoints that are actually in the home version, you don't make a time limit for that track, then you can't continue on. So it gives you a set amount of time to finish the track, because if you finish that location in a certain amount of time, you go on to the next track. And if you don't make the time, you won't be going anywhere. Don't worry about rolling your eyes, just make sure that you don't roll your car.
Left, right, yeah! No!
So take multiple attempts. But in the arcade, obviously you're going to take a few turns anyway to get good at the game, like most games. Most games in the arcade, you're not going to get good at the very first time you play it either. I mean, who was really good at Street Fighter the first time you played it? Not me. I certainly was not good at Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or F-Zero or any of those games the very first time I played them. No, it took time, it took practice, it took money to insert into the machines that we played. Even when you brought them home, it took days and days sometimes to get really good at a certain game. But you know, practice makes perfect. Practice always makes the perfect runtime. And that's what you're aiming for, to get that runtime that's allowing you to progress onto the next levels. You really do have to get into the swing of things if you want to find the right groove that suits you. Just don't forget to move off the start line. That helps. You want to get jiggy with it. You go left and right. It feels good. Feels good. Going left and right feels good. I'm not just saying that. I'm actually meaning what I'm saying. You're gonna believe me when I say things. You gotta believe what I say because I speak all the truth that I can. Playing this game is like learning a new dance. It may be a little bit hard the first time you play it, but once you get used to swinging to the left and then swinging to the right, and then you'll be left thinking, where has this game been all of my life? Round that corner. Oh, what a turn. So satisfying. This when you're down and dirty in the mud. Yeah, there is mud in this game too, so you can slip and slide in the mud in this as well. Just like real drifting. Well, mostly. So, that's all I have to say on Drift Out. Give it a go, give it a shot, give it a turn, give it a bit of a move in the groove, a slip and a slide, and then you won't be unsatisfied.
Watch out! Oh my god!
Oh.
Careful!
And hitting the barriers. Not so satisfying. Believe me. Sorry, I'm gonna go because, you know, it's starting without me. 3, 2, 1, count me in. Wish me luck. This is my arcade machine, and these are the games that I like to play on any given day.
Ready? Yeah! Drift Out! New technology!
The fun in these games is so straightforward, with a few twists and turns. So let's get back on track. To the straight and narrow, of course. That isn't straight and narrow, left and right, so just watch those turns. Otherwise you won't be going or dancing anywhere.
Oh no! 3, 2, okay! 1!
I just lost my groove. I just officially lost my groove.
0! Game 4! Drift Out! Ready?